Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. It is a beautiful sunny day today. It's very tropical here in the greenhouse. So today I thought I'd work on a tropical tree. And today I'm going to be pruning my Ficus benjamina root over temple planting. Here is a look at the tree. So this is a medium leaf size Ficus benjamina. It was a cutting that I planted over this temple long ago. Last year I repotted it into this pot that Sophie made for me, and I mentioned that the pot is a little large for the tree at the moment, but I'm hoping, to grow the canopy out and eventually get everything into proportion. This is the first time my Ficus benjamina has seen sunlight since last fall, so it grew quite well over the winter. I noticed there's a little bit of scale insects on it, so I'll have to give it a spray after I'm done pruning it today. So I'm going to begin the pruning now, and I'm wondering if I should use the blue scissors to establish my umbrella shaped canopy first. I think that would be a good idea. The pruning with the blue scissors will be a profile prune to get that umbrella shaped canopy, and then after that's done I'll go in and do a more detailed pruning, eliminating branches that aren't growing in good spots and doing a general detailed prune. So here I go with the profile prune. So the first thing I need to do is kind of establish what height I want my umbrella canopy, and I would say somewhere about here. So I'll come in and just make it a flat top at that height, cutting through everything so you can see that's about the height of my umbrella canopy. And then I want to round it, so I'll come in and start rounding the umbrella shape. And you have to do this from all dimensions. So you can see it's a little heavy at the back here. And it's kind of a brutal operation. You're just cutting through everything, leaves, thick branches, thin branches. But it gets the basic shape established, which is always important with a ficus, to get that nice umbrella shaped canopy formed. So I would say I'm pretty close now. I think that's a good umbrella shape. Not much sticking out. Somewhere there. So I'm happy with that. Maybe. Yeah, I think that looks quite good. That is step one of the pruning completed. And if you just pruned your ficus, pruning an umbrella shaped canopy all the time, you would get a fairly good looking tree in the end. However, it's always good to go in and sort out the branch structure, making sure all your branches are dividing from 1 to 2, making sure you're cleaning out all the new growth that's formed on the trunks, doing a general cleanup to get air and light into your branch structure. My next step is to come in and do the detail pruning. So I need to look at each branch. So on this branch, you can see it's kind of a horizontal branch, and there's a shoot growing vertical here that I can take out. That gives a little more space between the branches for airflow and light. And then I'm looking at this branch, and you're looking at the front view of the tree, and this one's kind of like crossing the trunk line, and I have another kind of bar branch beside it. So I think, pruning this one away and keeping the one out here would improve the design of the tree. So I'm going to prune this one off and keep my other one like that. You can see how that opens up the trunk of the tree. There's a shoot in here, a little sucker that's growing. I'll take that out. There's another little one here. I don't want multiple branches growing out from one spot on the trunk. And then everything else is looking quite good on this branch. I do have a little vertical growth here that I'll prune the tip off just to keep it in check so it doesn't grow up really tall. Here I've got a branch growing above another, so I'll take the upper one off, keeping my more of a cascading branch. And on this branch in here, I have an upper branch and a lower one, and they're one above the other, so I'm going to keep my lower one and prune off the upper branch like that. So that's got that branch all cleaned up. It's looking quite good. The next branch I'm looking at is this one here, this horizontal branch, and I noticed that there's a couple of new shoots that have grown in at the base of this branch, and I have to decide, well, do I want that? I don't think so. I mean, it'll just cause swelling here if I let them grow, and I already have a powerful branch here, so I'm going to remove these ones. Like that. Cleaning up that structure. So that looks better. And then on this branch, you can see it comes up. I have like an upright trunk here, and then I have another one beside it. And I'm wondering if I need that one beside it or not. It has a lot of foliage attached to it. It's kind of an awkward looking structure. So I've got to sit down and look at it and decide what I want to do in this area. You can see the branch structure there. Do I want to prune this off, keeping a horizontal branch and an upright one here? Yeah, so I've got to decide what to do in that area. I've been looking at the tree, and it's a very difficult decision. Like this branch or trunk line comes out and it divides into two, which is fine. And then it comes up, and I've got a vertical part to this one which has a lot of foliage on it. And if I were just to cut this off, there's two possibilities. One, I'd have this huge hole in the canopy, which, if there's a replacement strategy in place, you can fill that hole in again. The other problem is that, well, maybe it would look too contrived, that, unnatural. If I prune this trunk off, I'd have like a branch here, trunk line. I don't want it to look too unnatural, the tree. So that's always a possibility, is that, with pruning, that you make the tree look too structured. And on a ficus, in nature, they don't really have a formal structure to them. So I've been thinking about it a lot. And I think if I took that off, I just think it would create a worse tree. There is a branch in here that could maybe come off. A little one. Another one here that's got to get cleaned out. It's really making that structure obvious now. So the other possibility is I can prune off some of this upper growth here, which might be a good compromise. Keeping my one that's fanning outwards, and the one that shoots straight up I could prune away. I'm going to prune away this one vertical one here. There's an old leaf I can take off there, an old leaf here. Just kind of cleaning up the structure a bit so I can see it better. This branch coming out the front is really nice. I like that one. I'll clean up the one going towards the inside here. There's one here pointing to the inside of the tree. I want all my branches fanning outwards. Yeah, and then there's that vertical section. There's another, where this branch comes, you can see it divides. There's this one, a vertical part, and then one that kind of comes back on the inside of the tree. I don't see a future in that branch, so I'm going to take that one off. So just make sure there's nothing attached to it. There's a branch back there. I'll rough prune it for starters. Take that out. That looks better. And then maybe that vertical one I can reduce back to a shoot that fans outwards. There's one here. So I'll take the top off at least. Just the top of that branch. There's one on the inside here I can remove. There's one on the inside here I can take out. Just kind of cleaning up all this growth that's going back into the tree. There's another one here. Another one here. Well, it's got that structure better. Yeah, so there's a look at it now. It's definitely improved. I think I could take off that vertical part here and keep this part of the branch. I think that would improve it. It would solve a lot of my problems for the future. So here I go. I'm taking that vertical branch right off like that. So there wasn't a whole lot of foliage attached to it. The canopy still looks good. So that's good. Yeah, I think that really improves it. Now, this vertical one, there's one coming forward which is really nice because I didn't have a lot of foliage coming forward on this tree. It was kind of back heavy. So behind that is a branch that goes quite vertical. So I'm going to prune off this one that's crossing back to the interior of the tree. I'm going to clean up some of this sucker growth. Bring that one branch back a bit. So that branch is getting light now, which is good. It was kind of shaded out before. So I've got a lot of this side of the tree sorted out, but now I'm looking at this side and there's a lot going on here. There's multiple branches growing from one spot here. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4 branches growing all from one spot. So I think I've got to clean that out a bit. Otherwise, I'm going to get a big ball shape here. It'll thicken up and get quite ugly in the future. So this branch here is really nice. The only unfortunate thing is it starts kind of at the back, and then this part of it comes forward. It's not a very flowing branch from the trunk, which is too bad. So I've got to decide, out of all these multiple trunks, which one I'm going to keep. Here's a look at that area. You can see in here all these multiple trunks coming from one spot. So I need to do some thinning in that area, which is going to quite dramatically change this upper canopy. It's really going to thin it out, and maybe not in a good way, but yeah. So I've got to pick my best flowing branches. It's always a good decision to pick your flowing branches. So I'm checking the tree out, looking at the front. Tough decisions, tough decisions. There's a dead stub here I'll take out. So this branch is kind of weak and it kind of grows back in towards the center of the tree. I think that's one I could clean out, even though it's coming forward and kind of filling the canopy out in that area. I just don't see a future for that branch. It's just not a flowing branch. And instead of flowing outwards, it kind of comes in. So I'm taking that off.
That's one branch removed in that area. So now you can see I still have 3 major branches here. And this is going to be a very tough decision. Very tough. This branch has a lot going for it. It's got this one coming forward, it divides, whereas the one behind is very straight. It kind of fills in one area of the canopy, but not a highly visible area. So if I was going to remove one branch from that area, I think it would be this one. Yeah, so that one's going to come off. Whew, big cut coming up. All right, here I go. So I'm going to come in and just prune it off flush. So here I go. Big cut coming up. It's done. Let's see what I remove. So not too bad. Does the canopy look a bit empty now? Maybe it does, but you know, it's getting light in here and it'll fill in. There's a branch here that's growing back across the center of the tree. I'll get rid of that. There's a few suckers down here I can remove. Just cleaning up the structure. Yeah, it's kind of a big change for the tree, but ficus are pretty good at filling in. Now this branch here, I've got a shoot growing on the inside. I'll take out an old leaf here, an old leaf here I can take out. Take this one out. It's a little cluttered here at the tip. I think that's got it cleaned up. There's a branch here. I think that's okay. It's kind of growing a bit near this one. I'll just take part of it off. Just to get a little more light in there. This branch is looking good. Now there's a branch over here that's kind of growing underneath another branch. It's not getting a lot of light, but looks okay though. I think I should keep that. Maybe even remove the one back here. There, that gives it good light now. There's one growing in towards the tree back here I can clean out. So I think the canopy is going to look a little sparse after this pruning, but you know, over the summer I'm sure it'll fill in quite a bit. Okay, so I've solved some problems with this tree. Not all the problems, but some. So let's look at this back branch now. This one back here. So here's this back branch. I'm just looking. Oh, leaves falling off. Just looking for problem areas. It's not too many. These two branches are kind of growing above each other. I could take this vertical shoot off. The vertical shoot I'll take off here. There's a branch hanging down here, and I think that's okay. I think, you know, you need some sort of hanging branches on the tree. The old leaf I can take out there. I'll take this vertical part off the tip of the branch, keeping it kind of fanning outwards. Stub back, prune off one going towards the inside there. Okay, that helps. This branch, there's a vertical part I can take off here. I was just cleaning a stub up there too. On the inside I can take out here. It's looking okay. There's a branch here I need to take off. It's growing across that branch and coming from, there's a division of 1 to 3 here, so I reduced that back. There's another little shoot I can take out there. Prune the tip off here just to get a little more ramification. I'll prune the tip off here and the tip off here. Right here. There. Yeah, I think everything on this branch is looking pretty good. I can prune off a bit of this upward growth here, keeping the branch a little flatter. So now, let's have a look here. Here I have, you can see this lower branch is interfering with the one above it. I think I need to take this upwards part off, like that. And on this branch, just take the tip off here. Yeah, there's not much I can do there. This branch doesn't flow. I'm going to remove that. It kind of goes 90 degrees to the branch. It doesn't have a good flow line. Take an old leaf off there. There's a few suckers in here I've got to get rid of. Otherwise it just makes it lumpy in this area. There's a few suckers on the inside here I can get rid of too. And what about this one? Let's see. I think that one can stay. Just pruning a few crossing branches off there, ones that were cutting back in across the canopy. This one can come out too. Thinning the canopy, getting light to all these branches. If they don't get light, they do not grow. Okay, I'm going to step back and have a look at the tree. It's not too bad. This branch at the back is a little on the strange side, but I think as this fills in, you won't see it so much. And then in the future, maybe I can do a little more pruning to that area. I could take this one branch off that's growing back in towards the center of the tree, maybe this one too. Just to clean it up a bit. Yeah, it's a little obvious now, that branch, but I'm sure, in the future there'll be more opportunities open up for pruning, kind of improving that branch, but I wouldn't want to take it away. It's kind of an important trunk line, but I could see in the future maybe, reducing it back so it's not so vertical. It's a little cluttered here. I'm just cleaning it out a bit. Okay, well, I think that's pretty well got the tree pruned up for today. I think the next phase of this tree's life will be, letting it fill in again, and then I tackle the pruning again, always picking my best flowing branches, and I think slowly over time I'll get a better and better branch structure to this tree. But I think, if I took more off today, I think it would weaken the tree too much, and it would start to lose its shape, and I just think it's thinned out and it can grow, nice and healthy now. All these branches are getting light, and it's just a matter of letting it fill in again and then tackling the pruning in the future. Here is the front of the tree. I'll spin it around so you can see it from all angles. So this tree has really improved from, in the last few years. I really like this tree. It has a long way to go. You can see there's a dead section of the back here where a branch died off, but it's healing nicely. Yes, it has its faults, this tree. You see it's a little awkward looking in that view. But it also has its charm. And I think it's slowly developing into a better and better tree. So my next step is to spray it. It had some scale insects on it, so I'll give it a spray with soap and water. All right, here I go with my soap and water. So I'll start from above and come below, spray upwards, rotate the tree around. And this is just liquid dish soap, the kind you use for hand washing dishes. Mixed 40 parts water to 1 part dish soap. Approximately, I don't measure it, I just guess. So that is sprayed quite well. Just spray the temple, surface of the soil. So I'll let that sit for a while and then rinse the tree off. I've left the tree sit for about 5 minutes. So now I'll rinse it all off, all that soap and water. Some people leave the soap and water on their tree. Probably for a ficus you could, because they're tough trees. But I don't know. I always rinse it off. I'll leave my Ficus benjamina root over temple planting out here in the sunshine for the rest of the day, and then towards the evening I'll bring it back into the plant room where it will stay until maybe May. So that is it for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.